Any questions about that?
Sorry, I think I was muted for task one, but I had a question about task one.
Yeah.
So I only flushed the data when I think we were evicting. Do you have to flush anywhere else?
In files is done.
Yeah.
And I'll include it here. Okay, and that's pretty much it.
Okay.
Yep, and then I gave you some code here to go from inode to inode disk. Just block read the inode sector. Cool, and that's all I had to say about test 2. You guys really nailed the extending files part, so nice job. All right, so let's talk about subdirectories. Okay. Yeah, just one thing to mention. When you're changing directory from old to new, make sure you dir close your old current working directory and then dir open your new current working directory.
All right.
That's something small. Okay, when I'm looking through your code, I'm seeing in traverse path, you have special logic for like when you encounter a dot.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm assuming you have special logic here for like dot dot and stuff, right?
Right.
One clean way to go around that is like on any Unix system, if you type in ls, you'll actually see that there are directory entries for dot dot and dot, right?
Mm-hmm.
So how about whenever we make a directory with make dir, let's see, where'd it go? Here. We will also create a directory entry for dot and then dir add it. And we also create a directory entry for dot dot and we add it. So now you don't need special cases to check for dot and dot dot in traverse path. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So now let's completely flesh out an idea for traverse path. Okay, so here, so you pretty much nailed it. I think like the indenting here was kind of off. But pretty much your bread and butter for traverse path are get next part and dir lookup, right? However, you need to start with the directory. You need to start with the dir star.
Yeah.
When you see that it is a slash, that means an absolute path, right? So instead of doing this, there's a function that does that for you already called dir open root. You will call it this function.
Okay.
And then if it's in relative path, then you would do dir reopen, and then the thread's current working directory in here. So that's what I typed out over here. Okay, once we set up the initial directory to start searching for, we call get next part to get part of the path. And then we call it dir lookup on that name that we got from here in the directory we just opened up here.
Yes.
And that gives us the inode, and then you just dir open it. And then, of course, you dir close the old one. One thing to mention is that dir lookup, the caller must close the return inode. So make sure you're doing this. I believe you're doing that here. Yeah. So any questions on traverse path?
No.
Okay. Um, okay, so notice here how you're storing is directory in inode disk, but I believe in isdir you're doing
yeah,
file
inode.
inode. Yeah, so you need to go all the way to inode disk for this one.
Okay, yeah.
Do you guys remember the file descriptors in project 1?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You're keeping it in like some kind of struct, right?
Yes.
Yeah, it's in file descriptor. Yeah.
It's in thread.
Yep. Okay, so given a file descriptor, how do we tell if it's a file or directory?
Just given the file descriptor.
Yeah.
So, using the we would probably have to add like a boolean for the file info struct that tells if it's a directory or a file.
Yep. So that's good. You could totally put it here. Like that. What I recommend is in this same file info structs, keep both the file star and the dir star. And then either the file will be null or the dir will be null, and the other one will not be null. So we can use that to check if something's a directory or not.
Oh.
That makes sense.
Yep. The reason why I recommend this as opposed to two separate file info structs, like a file info and a dir info, is because each process has a limit of 128 open file descriptors, and that applies to both files and directories combined. Right, so it's going to be a lot easier to keep track of that limit if you keep it in the same structs, in the same list. Okay. So now that we know how to go from file descriptor to whether or not it's a directory or file, if someone tries to write or read to a file descriptor that belongs to a directory, you should fail that operation. Okay, and then in files is open, I think I noticed something. You're starting at root, right? But this isn't always the case, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so then files is open, we'll also have to traverse path.
Yeah, you're right.
Okay, and another small thing, make sure your child threads inherit the parent current working directory. Okay, and that's all I have to say for project 3. Really nice job on part 2. Although I really wish that you wrote more so I could like double check your answers and stuff.
Oh, sorry about that.
Yeah, it's okay. I have confidence in you guys implementing a good solution. But I think if you were to start today, the first thing I would do is make a chart like this. And everyone make sure that the math is correct.
Okay.
Okay, once you do that, write byte to sector. And then once you do that, finish task 2. All right, so any other questions for me?
I think I'm good.
All right. Well, it was a pleasure being your TA this semester. It was really nice like seeing you guys every week. And then you guys would be like really quiet. But then even though you were like really quiet and you didn't really ask any questions, I knew deep down that you really understood what was going on because like, you know, just your scores on your projects kind of indicate that you know how to like get it together and stuff. So nice job. I really appreciate the amount of effort and time that you put into this class. Like I know with everything that's happened, it's been like really crazy and it's really hard to like be motivated and be excited to work on 162. So you know, nice job, and thank you for sticking around.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
For
Alright,
tuning
thank
in.
you, Alan.
Yeah, thanks for your time and
No
your kind
worries.
words.
Okay, so what I'm gonna do now is I'll email you all the notes that I took. After I finish up with all my other reviews, I've been talking for 4 hours straight now.
Damn.
Once I email you the notes, if you need me to expand on anything I mentioned, feel free to reach out to me via email. You can even ask me questions about your projects if you run into them along the way. And yeah, so good luck with Project 3. Good luck with the rest of the semester.
Awesome.
Alright, thank
I'll
you.
see you guys around.
Thank you.
See you guys.
Bye.
Yeah.